Hey, what's up? My name is Brent Pierce, and today we're going to go to Facebook and we're going to answer some questions from podcasters. I don't know what questions we're going to get, but we're going to answer them, and maybe it'll help you out as well. On Facebook, I see a lot of questions come through, and usually I answer those questions. Sometimes I get DMs from people who see me answering questions, and then it leads to a longer conversation. So I figured, you know what? Let's make a video about it, and let's answer some common, frequently asked questions. Okay, here's one. I currently record and edit on Riverside on my laptop. How can I go outside and interview folks and then put my interviews onto Riverside? I hope this makes sense. I'm trying to use another device besides my laptop. Okay, so let's do two scenarios. Let's go out and record, and then we'll put it on Riverside when we get back home, or let's do straight on to Riverside. So if we're just recording ourselves, obviously you're going to use the device that you have. You're going to use your phone, and you're still going to need professional audio. So the way you do that is you get a mic and you plug it in via USB, and you need a mic that looks like this. This is what you're going to need. This is the Rode PodMic USB. As you can see, we have a USB cable going straight into my phone. And if you're going outside, you also probably want to put a windscreen on here. So pop that sucker on there, and then you've got a podcast. Now, let's just say it's audio only. Boom, this is perfect. Record into your phone using the built-in audio recording app. Make sure it's listening to this mic, and then you're off to the races. Then when you get back home, upload that file to Riverside. If you have two people that you're wanting to record outside, you're going to need two mics. Luckily, Shure released the Shure MV7i, I want to say. This is probably what you want if you're wanting to record two people into one USB recorder. The back here, that is a female, which means you plug a male into it. And typically on the back of mics, you can see on the back of this mic, the back of this mic is a male, which means the female end of the XLR plugs into the mic, which is standard. Any microphone that you get, unless it's a crazy smart microphone like that Shure one, is going to have this male end, so you plug the female end of the XLR in. But this Shure MV7i actually has a female XLR, so it's backwards. And so the idea with that is you get another microphone and you plug in the female end like normal, and then you plug in the male end of this one. That's all backwards. They don't teach that in school. And then you plug the USB cable into your phone to record both of those mics. That is ingenious. To answer the original question, you would take a USB mic, plug it into your phone, record onto your phone, and then upload it to Riverside. Or you could just go directly to Riverside if you have a good internet connection. Now remember, you're going to have to stream that over your wireless connection, whether it's 4G or 5G or whatever the kids are using nowadays. So keep that in mind. You're going to have a decently strong internet connection so it can upload that entire thing. Anyways, let's move on. Has anyone used this or have knowledge of it for use as a webcam for live streaming a podcast? Looking for more information before potentially purchasing. What is this? A Canon XA60? Canon XA60 is a $1,600 camcorder. This type of video camera that is a half-inch CMOS sensor is a very old school type of camera. And the fact that Canon is still making and selling these for $1,600 is crazy. But I'm sure it works for some people's workflows. For $1,600, I wouldn't buy this. I would buy a Sony FX30 kit, which means it comes with a lens. And that camera is going to get you a whole lot more bang for your buck than this Canon will. Now this Canon, it's probably a great camcorder. It probably has a great image. It looks like it has XLR in, which is great. So does the FX30 if you get the top handle adapter. Anyways, so I would get the FX30. Let's move on. Here's another one. I'll be filming at nighttime. This was just a camera test as I know nothing about cameras and settings, etc. So I have a Zoom Q8N 4K camera, and I plan on using this for my podcast, but the image is super grainy and I'm unhappy with it. Am I missing something, or is this simply down to poor sensor quality? Looks like it's on auto. Put it on manual and you'll go a lot farther. You're going to need a front light, close that window, and put your camera on manual so you can bring down your ISO. Because what's happening here, your camera sees a very dark room, so it's trying to brighten up the image by cranking up the ISO, and that's why it looks all grainy and noisy. Bring your ISO down, open up your aperture just a little bit. Make sure your shutter is locked at 1/60th, but definitely close that window. Which platform is the best for recording interviews for a podcast and YouTube? Is it Zoom or another platform? I would say Riverside. I've used Riverside and I've had a lot of success with it and I quite enjoy it. So check out Riverside if you're doing any kind of Zoom meetings where you want to record it and then post it later. Riverside is going to be your best bet. Hi, is there a good place to get short sound effects like a drum roll, a trumpet call, etc.? I would say you could go to Pixabay, which is free. You could also use what I use. Actually, I use two services. I use Envato Elements and I use Soundstripe. Let's just check out Envato Elements here. Sound effects, whoosh. There's a whoosh, pop. What did he say? Drum roll? Here's a drum roll. Boom, 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 boom. Did that remind anybody of the Weezer song, Beverly Hills? Because it did for me. Trumpet. That's great. Good stuff. Okay, so I use Envato. I also use Soundstripe. Soundstripe I primarily use for music, but they do have a lot of sound effects as well. A lot of artists actually post on multiple platforms, so you're going to hear very similar things. So Envato or Soundstripe is what I use for sound effects. Hi, everyone. I'm looking for a better method to record phone calls for my podcast. Every episode is currently recorded by me calling a guest phone. So again, I'm not even going to finish it. I'm going to say use Riverside. I assume he's wanting to record virtual interviews. Just use Riverside. Riverside is going to be like the answer for like 92% of these questions. Anyone here running a podcast without intro music? If so, why? I highly recommend using intro music. Takes a little bit of editing, but it adds a little bit of sauce to it, especially if you use an AI music generator like Suno. I went over that in my last video, so check it out. It's going to be in a link somewhere up here. You can click it and watch it, or you don't have to. Video/YouTube question. We have a 5-minute daily prayer podcast that I would love to have more than just the thumbnail static audiogram for it. Any ideas or tips leading to an AI solution that creates rotating stock video of nature, etc., that we can combine with subtitles? I feel like this already exists, but I haven't found a tool that does it yet. For this instance, I would just say grab stock footage from Envato Elements or Pixabay and edit it together yourself. It's going to be much better than AI could do. I think AI video and AI video editing right now is not amazing. Maybe in a year, I'll be singing a different tune, but I think right now it's very hard to find an AI video editing app that replaces even like 10% of what I do as a video editor. So I would say for this one, if you're wanting to add stock footage, I would just add it yourself. I would go to Pixabay or Envato Elements and download your stock footage and then edit it yourself using CapCut or DaVinci Resolve for free. Hi all, trying to start our podcast and we are just so lost on where to start and what to buy. We have been told so many things, but I just want to start already, but I don't know what would be the fastest and easiest to start up. Any advice? First of all, the fastest might not be your best option. That being said, I made a full video that kind of goes through all the gear you would need to get started, but definitely do your research and take time and think about it. Take time to set it up and process it before you just press record. I know we all just get an idea and we want to just press record, but if you take some time and you set it up, it will perform better. It'll make your life easier in the long run. So check out that video. It'll be up here. Is that what the cool kids do? They like point up here and there's a little thing that people click. There's a full video that I go over lots of gear and software that you'll need to get started. The easiest way to just get started is to use this magical computer that you have in your pocket, your phone. You can plug in a USB mic and get professional sounding audio really quickly. If you're doing virtual interviews, I would recommend using Riverside. If you want to get a professional camera, there's plenty of options. Again, your phone is a professional camera, so you could just get a little tripod, connect your mic to it, and then boom, you're off to the races. Practice a little bit before you just push publish, have some fun with it. But anyways, again, check out that video for more info. Hi everyone, I recently bought a condenser mic for recording my podcast and I'm using Audacity. It's amazing for audio. However, I've run into a problem with video recordings. When I use my Logitech camera, the audio quality isn't clear And there's some buzzing noise. Does anyone know of a free, easy-to-use program that can help improve audio quality for video recordings? Yes. First of all, check your settings. Make sure your mic sounds good, because if you have a professional mic plugged into your computer, you should not be hearing that buzz and the artifacts in there. So make sure your routing is correct. But if you do have poor audio that you recorded, whether it be directly from the camera or a lavalier mic or a podcast mic that was a little bit farther away, the way I fix my audio is by using Adobe Podcast. Okay, so on podcast.adobe.com, you'll see that they have this enhance feature. So here's the original podcast. You upload it here, and then you get this little interface where you can play with the amount of enhancements you want. And here's what this sounds like.
Hi, everybody. My name is Matt Urbancic with Fluence. Welcome to our Cultivator series. We're excited.
So that's the original. Now, if we enhance it.
Hi, everybody. My name is Matt Urbancic with Fluence. Welcome to our Cultivator series.
It sounds so much better. And you can adjust it.
Several guests with us, and our topic today is going to be all about...
And it works really well. I will say, don't do it too much, because it will cut off some words and it will start to sound a little bit funny. But for the most part, it works pretty stinking well. How much should I charge for sponsorship? My podcast just has over 200 episodes and has been running for over 3 years, a bit over 44,000 plays, 900 subscribers. It's a niche. I got an offer from a professional training company for sponsorship for $5,000 a year. Is that sufficient? I think the only person who knows that answer is you. I don't have a lot of experience when it comes to partnerships and sponsorships with podcasts, but if you're happy with $5,000 a year, then be happy with $5,000 a year. And this is also one of those things that, like, you will iterate over time. And someday, 10 years down the road, you're going to look back and you're going to think, oh my gosh, can you believe I used to make podcast sponsorships for $5,000 a year? How cheap is that? Like, I look back in my life and my career, and I used to work for like $200 a day, and I was ecstatic. You know, I used to work for free, even, like, for the experience. And so now I am in a different position, so I don't go out and work for $200 a day, but just knowing that $200 a day worked for me back in the day, right? I was very excited to leave the house, to pick up a camera and make $200 doing what I loved to do. So anyways, I don't have an answer for this. Just, it's really up to you, right? Nobody can tell you what you want to make. That's up to you, right? You can get other people's opinions and kind of run things by them, but just know that at the end of the day, it is your decision to make. So, hey, super new to podcasting. I've done 8 episodes. I just ordered a mic, and I may get headphones later. Do you think headphones are necessary? Also, I have no idea how to edit, so my podcast is very authentic, to put it nicely. Can someone direct me towards an editing resource? Also, my platform is on Substack, and I'm wondering if there's a better platform for me to be recording and editing. Thank you so much, smiley face. There's a lot going on here. First of all, are headphones necessary? No, I don't have headphones on right now, and I'm living my life just fine. I've recorded episodes with headphones and without headphones. If you're doing virtual, I would recommend headphones. Although in a previous video, I didn't recommend headphones, so I could go either way. Yeah, I have headphones right here that I was using actually not too long ago. So again, it's one of those things. Headphones are not necessary, but they might make your life easier if you're doing a virtual interview. Also, they said they don't do any editing. Can you direct me towards an editing resource? For editing, if you want to edit your own podcast, I would recommend using DaVinci Resolve free. CapCut is also a great option. CapCut on the computer is a great option because it's like a full-fledged editor nowadays. CapCut on your phone is a little bit different than CapCut on your computer. So I would definitely just take the time to learn one of those editing softwares, either DaVinci Resolve free or CapCut, and then you'll be able to kind of do whatever you want to do. You can add music, you can add sound effects, you can move the video around, you can add split screen, you can kind of do whatever you want. I would recommend that. Again, I'm a professional editor, so it makes sense for me to recommend editing software. Some people it might not click, and you might not want to put in the hours to learn editing software, but that's what I would recommend. To edit your podcast online, I would say Riverside. Upload it, and it's text-based, so I would check that out. Hi all, I am just wondering if anyone help. I'm audio only at the moment, but want to have guests on. I'm looking Who is the best software or app to use for an iPhone? Any recommendations? Again, Riverside. That's it, Riverside. Again, I said Riverside was going to be the answer for a lot of these, and that's it, Riverside. Check out Riverside. This person did a GIF on theirs. Let's read it. I'm not reading that. That's way too long. That's a lesson. If your question is way too long, people aren't going to read it. I don't have the time to read it. Hi, looking for advice on equipment for recording my video podcast. What I'd like to do is have 2 to 3 camera angles and multiple mic inputs for guests. What equipment do I need to buy in order to make everything flow right? Also, I'd like to be able to minimize the editing process. I read about using Blackmagic A10 Mini Pro, HDMI, video, blah, blah, blah. That would help minimize the editing process as well. All of this is really more than I wanted to invest into, but I'd like my show to look professional. Okay. So if you're wanting to upgrade from one camera to multiple cameras, you're going to need a hardware switcher. The hardware switcher that I would recommend is the Rodecaster Video. This is a hardware switcher that gives you 2 XLR inputs as well. Currently, in my studio, I have a video switcher and an audio mixer, and they combine to create my show. But now Rode came out with a Rodecaster Video, which brings it all into one device. You plug 4 HDMI cameras into it and 2 XLR microphones into it, and it also auto cuts while you're talking and has that feature as well. So that's what I would get. I have not tried it. I will say the one downside I see with this Rodecaster Video is the fact that there are only 2 XLR inputs. So that means if you have more than 2 microphones, you're going to have to use some other means of getting those mics into the switcher. And there's a few techniques that I would use, but I don't know if I'm going to go through it right now. You could go into the camera as long as you have an XLR camera and then take that audio feed through the HDMI cable. You could do that. There's multiple ways to skin that cat. But either way, I would check out the Rodecaster Video if you want a switcher right now to start with. They also have these kits on B&H where it comes with a camera, and of course it comes with a Sony ZV-E10, which is the camera that I recommend people start with. They have a single camera, a 2 camera, and a 3 camera setup. And they also have these other kits that come with like tripods and everything. They even have one that comes with microphones. So the 2 camera podcasting kit is over $4,600. So you're going to be paying some money. But that's like, and it even has lights. It's got everything you need. So anyways, check that out, but you're definitely going to need a hardware switcher if you're wanting to do multiple cameras. Now you could record all independently and edit them later, but who wants to do that? This is 2025. There are better methods than just manually editing. Okay. All right, let's move on. Hi friends, I have a question. Do you save your podcasts anywhere? I'm 200 episodes in and all episodes are released. However, I do not have a backup anywhere. If that makes sense, only on my hosting site. Okay. What I use to back up a lot of stuff in my life is Dropbox. You could also use something like Google Drive, and there are other cloud-based backup services out there. The one I use is Dropbox. I've used it for years. It's never failed me. It's always done a great job. I also have my local server here at my studio that I keep anything and everything that I've ever done, and I have archive drives that live in the closet, and they live at my house. But the cloud storage that I use is Dropbox. Also, on that note, if you're not using Notebook LM for your podcast, then you're missing out. I'll probably do a whole separate video on this where I talk about how to use Notebook LM and why I use Notebook LM. Anyways, if you go to Notebook LM, you can throw these sources in here and then it will look at those sources and have an AI conversation with you. And it'll create quizzes for you and it'll like do a bunch of other stuff. But the big thing is those sources. So what I have here are the first, I believe, 10 episodes of my podcast, Beyond the Studio, and I uploaded them up here. So they're all here. It transcribes them, right? So you got the full transcript here. And then I can go in here and I can ask it, who said the thing about building a cyc wall? And it will look at all those episodes and say, here are some key points from their description. The idea to build a bigger studio with a cyc wall came from their girlfriend. And then you click this and it says what episode it is. And it gives you the transcript and everything. Yeah, anyways, that's great. I know that doesn't answer her question because that's not technically a backup or an archive, but either way, it's a thing. I'm fairly new to podcasting and I've made a couple of goofs buying microphones. Can anyone recommend a decent tabletop mic that would work with a small recording device with a 3.5 mil jack? That's a headphone jack. So basically he's asking, he wants a podcast mic that he can use a headphone cable to plug into the recorder. There it is. So that's a headphone jack. That's a 3.5 millimeter. So he wants a microphone that plugs into the recording device via headphone jack. What I would do, honestly, I would get this Rode Pod Mic USB. It's got a headphone jack. You could, I haven't tested it actually, but you could theoretically plug in 3.5 mil cable from here into your recording device. That's what I would do. Hey y'all, I'm getting into the realm of turning my episodes, I assume audio episodes, into YouTube videos, and I'd really like to start using more than just photos to go along with my stories. Do y'all have any suggestions for stock video sites? Oh, we already went over this. Envato is the one you want to use. Envato Elements, it's pretty cheap. You pay a monthly subscription fee. They have footage, they have sound effects, they have video editing templates and all that stuff. I should get sponsored by Envato. I feel like I'm talking about them all the time. Fellow podcasters, how do you find out what listeners like about your show and what they don't? I would just say ask. And that's the beauty of YouTube, is that you can put it on YouTube and you can see what people are commenting on. Especially YouTube shorts, I think, are the way to go. Create some shorts from your podcast, throw them on YouTube and see what people are liking, see what people are disliking, see what people are sharing and commenting on and stuff like that. Hi, I'm new to the group. I'm an educator interested in learning about creating a podcast so I can pass that on to my students. Any information you could share with me would be great. I'm looking for info about how to get started. How do you find topics? Where do you find your guests? What equipment? What platforms, etc.? Please keep the comments on a basic skill level. Okay. Again, I'm just going to point back to my other video where I go in depth on the gear that you need, the software that you need, and all that jazz. So check out that video. I feel like this entire video is just me saying to go check out that video, and maybe it is. Maybe that's what my life has come to now. Moving from Libsyn. I have an old podcast hosted on Libsyn. When we paused making new content, we moved on to their cheapest subscription plan, still paying monthly to keep the old episodes. Now we can't keep paying eternally, so I would love to move our old stuff onto a host with a free option. So on Libsyn, they have instructions on how to move from their platform to other platforms. And most platforms are going to have this option as well. Go to their support page and ask them how to do it. There's probably an article already set up that teaches you how to do it. You are going to need a hosting platform for your podcast. I use Podbean and I love it, so check it out. There's plenty of others. There's Buzzsprout, there's Spotify for creators, there's Libsyn, there's a bunch of other ones out there. I use Podbean. Hey friends, is there a YouTube guru in the house? I need help, so if you're feeling generous, please DM me. I can't get our video episodes to upload from my RSS. They just upload as audio. I think RSS is audio only for YouTube. So if you're going to upload to YouTube, you're going to have to upload natively. Just go straight to YouTube. I'm stuck. How do I live podcast with another person who is not actually in the same room as me? Is it possible to do it with video as well? You know the answer. Let's say it together. Riverside. There it is. Most of these questions can be answered with Riverside. This person says, what is the best day of the week to post episodes and why? I don't know. I've asked this same question before and I was not able to find an answer. Well, I found an answer, but I found like 15 different answers and they were all different days of the week. So I think the day that you should post is the day that you can post, the day that you can commit to. I do it on Mondays for one of my podcasts and Tuesdays for another one of my podcasts. It's just the way it works. It's just the way I do it. And if I miss a Monday, then I'll just do it later in the week. I don't think you have to stay rigid with that unless you want to, of course. I don't know if there's an answer for this. If there is, and if you have found a certain day working better, let me know in the comments. I like doing it earlier in the week, so then throughout the week, I can post about it on social, because if I do it on Friday, I typically like stay off the computer all weekend. I only really am on the computer when I'm at work. So I can't really post about it on social media on the weekends. So I like publishing earlier in the week so then I can kind of use the rest of the week to gain more attention. Does anyone use clips of their podcasts as YouTube videos posted weekly and seen decent growth? I do have audio-only versions of my podcast on YouTube. I don't intend to put up a raw end-to-end video, but 2 to 10 minutes feels feasible. Yes. You want to be on YouTube. Even if you're just an audio podcast, you're going to want to get on YouTube. Start by uploading like a video with your logo and the audio, okay? And then kind of grow from there. Then you can do stock footage, you can do all the things, but you should definitely be on YouTube. It's a whole nother audience, okay? And you should also have your shorts on there. There's a lot of people that consume content who are not on Instagram or TikTok or anything but YouTube. Okay, just like there are a lot of people who are on Instagram, but not YouTube, right? There's a whole world out there and everybody's using different things. So get on YouTube. All right, last one. How does everyone go about generating podcast descriptions without paying for a service? We suck at coming up with them, yada, yada. Okay, podcast titles and descriptions. I use AI to help me with this. I use Notebook LM and Claude, okay, in conjunction with each other. So Notebook LM, you get this kind of digital notebook where you can upload these sources. So I upload these MP3s on here. You can also dive in here and you get the transcription here. So what you would do, or what I do, I copy this transcription and I use Claude AI. Claude is very similar to ChatGPT, except it's a little bit better at writing things. It's a little bit more organic, in my opinion. Obviously, there are people out there who know more about AI than I do, but I use Claude. I like it. I like the layout. I like the whole thing. So I go into Claude and I say, write a description for my podcast. Also, give me 10 title options. And then you would want to go through and be a little bit more specific. This podcast is about owning and operating a production studio. That's what my podcast is about. And then you want to paste the transcript. And then when you click enter, it will do a lot of the work for you. And it'll come up with a description. It'll come up with some title options. And yeah, so that's what I use. I don't just strictly copy and paste. Usually I use this as the groundwork and then I make edits on my own. And yeah, so I would definitely check out Claude AI. Again, this might be a whole separate video that I will do just to kind of show how I use AI to help streamline the process of publishing a podcast. Anyways, that's what I use, a combination of Notebook LM and Claude AI. Anyways, that's it for today. Maybe I'll do this on a regular basis, kind of go through frequently asked questions when it comes to podcasting or even when it comes to owning a studio. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you have any comments or if you want to correct me in any way, please do so in the comments down below. Thanks for watching and happy podcasting.
Yeah, thanks for watching.